Hi guys, today we are looking at how clusters in your cards can actually help you tell the message of your story. We're looking at the smaller decks, but this also applies to your tarot or any oracle decks that you work with. So you can use your Kipper, we have Gypsy and the Lenormand cards today. But you can really use any system or use this technique with any system. The key to understanding your box spread or any small spread that you're working in is to understand the correspondences between the cards. We are today looking specifically at a couple of clusters, which will be our love and our work clusters, and seeing how the cards actually give you a direction within those themes. It is super important that you understand your cards, you understand what their core meanings are for you, so that you don't then get confused along the way as to what message is being told. In the World Divination Association group on Facebook, we have, or I will be today, putting up Lenormand theme clusters. I will do the same for Kipper and Gypsy when I get a spare moment. And in the document, we run through things like communication, what cluster would give you information on that, danger, family, finances, health, love, stress, success, work, a third party in the mix. Issues, sales, incoming, happiness, circle of friends, new starts, movement, and pain, the cluster of pain. So we'll start with the Lenormand deck and a love read. So in your Lenormand deck, take your favorite deck. I have Polly's Sunset Lenormand here, and consider the theme of the read. We're looking at love. Consider the cards that we see falling. Which cards would we like to show us a nice shininess in love? You may be surprised at some of the cards you see me putting on the right hand side here, and think, wow, they aren't traditionally a love situation. But I will run through them and explain why all these and what these have to do with love. Oops, I have a double deck here with the two mountains in the mix. Two snakes. You see, I did 3 piles there. I've done a negative pile, a neutral pile, and cards that we would like to see in a love read. Now, what's important is to consider what love means. I had a conversation with Jane the other day, which was actually led me to doing this video on the difference between satisfaction and fulfillment in life. And it made me think about the clusters that I actually use for any kind of read, but in particular a love read. And it made me come to the conclusion that it's something that we should actually talk about. I'd be interested in the comments below what your feelings are on cards signifying love in the chosen system of yours. But we had a conversation and it went along the lines of obviously the heart card in Lenormand bringing you happiness in love, or your heart's desire being fulfilled. And then the Lily card. Lily is our satisfaction card. If we have lilies in a small spread, for example, or close on a GT, then we are looking at satisfaction for your querent. If heart is far away, it's a very self-satisfaction. You know your placements for Lily too. But together they form a loving satisfaction, a loving warmth, a virtuous love, even when they are together. Ring in the mix then solidifies that loving satisfaction. But we still don't have full fulfillment until the anchor of hope is in the mix too. We don't have a sense of family unless house is close by. We don't have the recognition or the heights of relationship without moon in the mix. However, if we took our heart and lily away and just had commitment, fulfillment, house, family maybes, or the solidity of house and moon, then the love is less. It's less satisfactory, and the happiness of love or the fulfillment of the actual love itself are missing too. Star brings in direction to the love. Bouquet brings in happiness, like that super shiny happiness into the mix. Key brings a certainty in that love, depending on where it lands next to the heart. Our people in the mix. The love is only truly, truly heartfelt love when our people share it. Is it a long-lasting love? Only if Tower is in the mix. So if you think about a life in general, if you think about life in general and all the components it takes to truly fulfill, truly get to the anchor of hope, there are so many different parts to that love. There are so many different parts in your life where you need to feel that love in order to feel fulfilled. In order for a relationship to be a fulfilling relationship, you need a lot of components to corroborate that. So if any of the long-term cards, for example, Anchor, Tower, Ring, House, if they aren't in the mix, then you could be looking at a relationship that is transitory, especially if you have stock in the mix. So it's super important to consider what life areas affect love, what card actually can show the difference between a long-term relationship and a short-term relationship, can show the difference between fulfillment. Obviously we have Bear, which is great fortune, and that brings a super amazing energy into the mix, but also a side order of a third-party envy. Abundance of love, but then also could be an abundance of envy, depending on the cards that are mixed in. And then we have our sun. Without the sun, nothing can grow. Can a relationship truly grow if it doesn't have the sun's energy in there? So think about it as a perfect scenario, the friendship of our dog and the loyalty that's required in a relationship. And your ship coming in. Think of all the ingredients you would like to see in a perfect relationship or a perfect life. Now take a few of those out and see how that would reflect you as a feeling on a relationship. So if we take out our man, for example, and we have our woman, she's very fulfilled with all of these cards. But what's he? What's he got near him? Is he fulfilled in the relationship? Can that be a lasting relationship if he's not in the mix? commitment. What's the point of all of this if there's no commitment in the relationship? And dog missing, so the loyalty of dog missing. It's a way of considering life versus cards and how you can reflect in your spreads life in the cards. The neutral cards then, if they are in the mix on a relationship, if you have Clover and Stork, for example, in your loving mix, maybe with Ryder, it's a very neutral, put dog in there, you've got a very platonic even relationship. It's not one that's coming with all that fulfillment. It's not one that's coming with all the components that you need or your client needs for a happy life. Then add some instability into the mix with your troublesome cards. And you can see the ground or the foundation on which that relationship is built. The same applies to any system. We'll take Kipper now and have a look at work, for example. If we were looking in a work, we would have our plans, contracts, work, don't want that, don't want that, absolutely, absolutely. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Boss in the mix, do we need bosses? Depends really. Don't stress, could be okay stress, but still we'll put it in the bottom. Do we want a bit of naivety in the mix with our young girl? No, but it could show a colleague. Change, neutral, caught, we don't really want that. We do, nope. Do we want that? Show the office, neutral, yep, please. Experience of our journey card is important in our working life. Expectations is one of those cards that's too wishy-washy for a work environment. Yes, you want your creative processes, but alone it's a bit of a wishy-washy card when it comes to work. So we have some troublesome cards. We have cards that don't really show a positive move forward or a promotion or anything like that. For example, we have plans in our everybody needs plans. We have our people in the mix who show working environments. We have experience and going along our route. We have the major positive cards, money. Living room shows obviously the office space, but it also shows something coming soon. Absolutely want offers coming in a working environment. We want a long-term prospects of our long way. We want honor and recognition for the work that we actually do. We want stability within that work or a good company to be working for. We need a good outcome in that. We obviously need the togetherness of a working environment. We definitely need our Hope Great Water. The work card is a substantiating card. And then the state of our contracts or our relationships with the state of marriage card. So all these would show together a fulfilling working environment. The people are hit and miss depending on whether you are working with a group of people or not, naturally. But the actual cards for a fulfilling work environment are shown. And again, consider if you took any of those out, how would that working environment be? If you took out recognition, you've got long-term prospects, you've got offers, you've got enjoyment, but will you get that promotion? If you take the long-term out of the mix, is it fulfilling in that respect? So you look at the cards that are presented versus the cards that are absent and consider if neutral cards come into the mix to lessen the fulfillment of that working environment. And obviously a negative card in the mix brings it down somewhat. So perfect life in your own work, consider what it means to take them out. If we do the same with love, we obviously have our people cards. These are remain neutral. Expectation is again one that could scoot over if it is required. I don't think we totally require it because it's different to the desire card in Gypsy. It's more about daydreaming out into the future, which isn't a solid foundation in a relationship. So work we would remove. We want our amazing state of marriage. We want our karmic upturn. We want recognition for that relationship. We want that relationship to be of a good standing. Or do we want togetherness? We want that spiritual, yes, this is the most amazing relationship of my life. I am so fulfilled. Journey, we remove because it is not, it's more neutral in a relationship. A positive outcome in love, obviously we need the romance of his thoughts. We need the closeness, whereas the togetherness and then the intimacy of our living room. We want the solidity of a family. We want it to be long term. We want obviously surprises and happiness in the mix. We want an abundance of all of that, and we want our wishes to be fulfilled. We want our life to end and culminate in that hope, great water, that horizon of everything being exactly as we want it to be. Now consider taking cards out. If you take out that, you already have amazing cards, but you don't have the end goal of the hope, great water, the wish fulfillment, the fulfilling life. The difference between the good outcome in love and the hope, great water cards is that yes, you get a good outcome in love. It does show love, but it doesn't show the deep fulfilling love that it comes with the hope, great water card. So let's have a look what happens if we do a love reading with both decks. Random querent. For somebody out there who is needing a love read, let's see. Theft, negative. Court official, do not want in a love read. Great fortune. Ooh, man in the mix. Main character 1. Gift. So on first analysis, do we see any love cards? Actually, no. Good outcome in love is missing. State of marriage is missing. Even convene is missing. The only connector cards we have are the 2 negative connector cards. So that's suggesting a lack of love. There's new in the mix with our child. Yes, we have 2 positive cards and we have a card to suggest romance, but it is too affected by the short illness card, and with conflict above, that's more on separation than it is on bringing people together. So the court official is more a process of removing than putting back together. So this is a guy who is probably considering separation. It actually makes him positively, he sees a positive outcome for it. It does churn his stomach a bit up to think about it in that way. It's all brand new to him and he feels like he is in the drop zone here. He has struggles with being alone or being isolated, but he is seeing it as his feeling is it is actually probably a gift to him. It's probably going to bring in a better life for him once he gets past this short illness. And with his thoughts and the angel, if you were reading directionally, you could pull another card here to suggest what happens after the short illness and what his thoughts are on. Let's have a look at Lenormand. Sun, heat in a relationship. Clover. Oh, remember what I said about transient or transitionary relationship? We have Clover and we have Stork, which suggests absolutely not long-term, but a relationship that is in the motion of change. Wow, 3 negative cards. The book is a card of hidden secrets being revealed. And then we have the pain and the snake in the mix, the betrayal. So if you look at these cards, we have again no cards to suggest love. So there's nothing that would say, wow, this is a super relationship. We see love in there. We do have 2 very long-term cards. So we're looking at a snapshot of a relationship that is a long-term relationship that has dwindled. So a long-term relationship that is going down the pan. The heat of the sun then giving new energy in to transform. So there has been a revelation here with sun and book in the mix on this long-term relationship. There's been a sudden revelation. It's caused pain and betrayal within that relationship, and they are moving off in a different direction. I'll do one quickly with Gypsy cards. It's a double deck, so don't be surprised if double cards come out. Love. Ooh, falseness. House. Marriage. So you have 2 double whammy, love and marriage in the mix. And merriment. Wowzers. Ooh, sweetheart facing outwards. Double merriment. Yay. A new of our child and some money. So if you're looking at this already, you have 2 super awesome cards plus 2 merriments. So that brings in an instant, wow, this is a nice relationship, one that is solidified in love between 2 people who are content in that relationship. It's a brand new relationship with our child, and with falseness at the top, it's a brand new relationship that maybe is not as solidified as they want it to be, but with house at the top over sweetheart, we have that solidity coming in. Some money is a bit like child. It is almost like Clover in the Lenormand system, that it isn't a card. You would have it in your neutral pile if you were having it in any for love. So the fact also that she is facing out shows that there are some parts of the relationship that are causing her concern. Or she is really trying to drag this relationship into a place where she wants it to be, with house above. But it is a beautiful relationship with the love and marriage in the mix. The falseness may, with the child and some money, suggest that the falseness is a temporary situation, especially with the diagonals here of merriment, merriment, house, and love, merriment, and some money. Please try that at home. Please tag me on social media at The Card Geek. Put in the comments below if you would like me to cover any systems or any techniques. I'll see you on Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere else at The Card Geek.